Next, ladies and gentlemen, Bob Carroll is here tonight to explain to us great opportunities relating to exhibitions and events. Bob owns and operates one of the most successful special event management companies in Australia. Australian Events is certainly the longest established event management company in Queensland, and now operates some 16 events annually in areas like the Gold Coast, Toowoomba, Brisbane, Sunshine Coast, Fraser Coast, Rockhampton, Mackay, Townsville and Cairns. He's been involved in a number of key event venues during their planning, their building and refurbishment, and works closely with a number of key councils in Queensland on a regular basis. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Bob Carroll.
It's very kind of you, thank you. Look, I've been in the event industry for a long time, and prior to that in tourism, and I've seen lots of opportunities come and go in all centres across Queensland. The way I see it on the Sunshine Coast currently, it's almost like owning a clapped out car, and it's getting worse by the day, and all of a sudden the family say, shit, we've got to fix the car. Where do we start? Do we get the tyres done, or do we get the rego paid, or we fix the insurance, or maybe it needs a paint job, fix the smoking motor? You don't know where to start, and there's a lot of people want all of these things fixed at once, because all of a sudden people are starting to realise there's a real desperate need here for something to be done. And I thought, as I was jotting a few things down, Alison said, keep it to 4 minutes, will you? Well, you shouldn't give me a microphone, Alison. But what I was going to do, I was just going to touch on a few centres, because we do operate in all of the regional centres in Queensland, have done for over 20 years. So we might as well start at the top, Cairns. Now, Cairns has an excellent showground facility, a good showground facility, and an excellent entertainment centre. Before they actually completed building the entertainment centre, they realised through forward bookings that they'd have to start on the extension. Townsville, and you've got to look at the population size of Cairns and its comparison to the Sunshine Coast as an enviable tourist destination. It's different, yes, there are different things about Cairns that you don't have here. You don't have green islands, and you don't have the mountains behind you that are comparable to what they have up there, but you do have enviable tourist attractions. Townsville has an entertainment centre. It's getting on a bit now, but it's also got an arts centre, and they're looking to build more. It's got Reed Park, it's got the V8s. There's a lot of activity in Townsville, and if you look at the population, it's quite comparable to what you are down here. Mackay is already building new facilities, and right now we've been working with Mackay Showgrounds, and as we speak, they're building a 4,000 square metre facility at the showgrounds. They're knocking down a lot of the other older buildings and getting ready for stage 2. Earlier this year they built and extended onto their main pavilion area. So Mackay is going ahead. And Mackay also spent over $32 million about 5 or 6 years ago to build an entertainment centre behind the showground, behind the council building and next to their arts theatre. Now Mackay is not a big community, and as a tourist destination I've got to tell you it doesn't rate anywhere near to what the Sunshine Coast does. Rockhampton has a theatre, it's got an excellent showground facility that was completely refurbished within the last 10 years. Now Robert Shorten may have had the keys to the till and may have helped a little bit through that process, but nevertheless Rockhampton has a good facility and it's looking to expand on that again. They recently, in the last few years, built another pavilion there which cost them around $20 million. The population of Rockhampton, once again, is not close to what we have here. Maryborough, even Maryborough has a good showground facility that's got good parking, good access, it's weather tolerant. Even Maryborough has got a good grip on things. Toowoomba has an excellent showground facility, 250 acres of land, and I think that's been built now for 25 years. They saw the opportunities all that time ago. They've got a world-class theatre complex, the Empire Theatre. One of the mayors lost his job over that but he was a champion for that. And what you don't have over here is you don't have people that are prepared to get up and be champions for this cause. Through councils, over a long period of time, you could point the finger at lots of people, but it's been a culmination of people sitting on their hands. And I think if you look at what's happened with the Empire Theatre, and they've just approved a multi-million-dollar expansion to that arts complex area. It's going to be a significant facility. The Gold Coast has an outstanding convention entertainment centre and an arts centre and a good showground facility at Parklands, even though it's going to be buried shortly. But they plan to rebuild a brand new centre on the Gold Coast. The Sunshine Coast, in comparison, has a very ordinary showground facility that is held to ransom by the cricket club in the annual show. And that's not a bad thing, that's just the way it's happened over 100 odd years. It has Stockland Park, which is very rightly so, trying to focus predominantly on its sports. And I was talking to Simon Ball only yesterday, and he's saying that he has to tell the sporting clubs to stop taking on new members, stop developing new teams, because we just don't have the space. If you look at the cricket club, I mean, there's a whole range of things. I could talk for a long time about some of the comparisons of what's happened in other centres. But as you can see, in all these other centres, it's not that they have, there's not a real difference in what they have to offer in the community, but they have smaller populations in the majority of the cases, and yet they've been able to push ahead and get things done. Now, making use of, the second point I made a note of was making use of existing facilities and how can they be improved. And this is a little bit of going back to the old car we were talking about earlier, was the fact that you can start and look at what you have and what can you make of those existing facilities and put some effort and thought into how you can build those infrastructure items and make something out of it. Fix the drainage, fix the parking, fix the access. I mean, they're not big deals, but they're things that can be easily put into place over successive budgets. So I think some of those things, if you really, and with the cricket, and I often tell people about Mackay, if you go and, if anyone plays cricket and they played at Harrop Park Cricket Club in Mackay, it's an outstanding facility. Outstanding facility, and I'd say one of the best cricket grounds in Australia. And they've done that through just personal endeavour and community investment. Council hasn't had to put their hand in their pocket for that facility, and it's an outstanding facility. And cricket deserves that on the Sunshine Coast. It's been established a long time, but it's only one sport. What sorts of problems was the other point I noted do event organisers come up against? Now, weather is a big issue. Now, currently in venues, we've got an event on at Stockland Park, the home show and the caravan camping event, not this weekend, the following weekend. You know, if it pours rain, we've got real issues. Real issues, possible flooding. If it gets to a point where you can't get on the fields, the facility has the right to close the field, shut the event. Road access off main feeder roads through traffic-lit intersections. Most of the facilities you have for big crowds, it's very difficult. Stockland Park is one. And they've struggled with it. They've done the very best they can, and they do a good job. Lack of basic services and, of course, parking and public transport. I mean, I've heard the argument, people say, well, we need to use more public transport to get to events. Well, in Brisbane you can. You can in Brisbane. At central venues it works well, but on the Sunshine Coast you've got a very decentralised community. If you lived at Noosa and had to attend an event at Nambour, how do you get a public transport combination to get you there? You simply can't. So I think, you know, the other thing that I thought about was, what are you missing out on? Well, I'll give you an example. Tomorrow I'm going down to the local government conference and expo. And it's being held in a bloody cow paddock at Caboolture. Now, there's nothing really wrong with a cow paddock. It looks fine and it works well for Farm Fantastic, but come on. You know, there's an opportunity here for an event of that stature to be held in good facilities. And if someone said to me, let's go to the conference with the local government expo, and we've got a choice, it could be held at Caboolture, so we can stay in a motel in Caboolture, or we're going to have it on the Sunshine Coast. It doesn't take a brain surgeon to work it out that, you know, the Sunshine Coast has far more appeal. You've got an airport here that can serve international aircraft. It's well set up. It's got opportunity to be expanded. You've got lots of things that other centres in Queensland simply do not have. All you need is people to get behind this cause, champion it, and have a very determined view on what you want out of these facilities. Multi-purpose facilities are great, but make sure that you consult people. Sports is important. All of these elements are important, but because it's been left to go too long, you've got to really decide on what are the key elements, which are the main priorities, and really stick to that plan. I wish you very much, all of you are well. We do business and have done on the Sunshine Coast for a long time. It's been very good to me and our company, and I'd like to do anything I can to help and assist in the development of ACE.